A recent report from Kevin Weekes has exposed what the Boston Bruins are trying to hide about Joonas Korpisalo and what went down near the end of the season. And this recent report details what could be coming next for the Boston Bruins in net. We're going to be talking about this as well as what Marco Sturm has to say about it here in this video. Now, very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, before we do get into this video, we're currently sitting at 6,860 subscribers. We're 140 away from 7K, and your guys' support's been absolutely incredible lately. You guys have been beasts on this channel. We appreciate all of you guys watching, and if you're looking for a spot for your Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, join me here on the channel. But let's get straight into this here, starting off with Kevin Weekes, what he had to say in this recent kind of tweet that revealed a lot and made a lot of, people kind of go back to where we were just a few months ago. Kevin Weekes of the AHL Bruins all-star goalie Michael DiPietro has opened up plenty of eyes, and it seems a top goalie among Group 6 free agents. Plenty of NHL clubs I've spoken with have expressed their interest in him. Now, a lot of what came out of this, responses, replies, retweets, all came down to talking about Joonas Korpisalo and his thoughts that he shared publicly about the Boston Bruins last season, at the end of last season, and really went to show that he felt he deserved more time. And where we were then, there was a lot of people thinking about, trading him, getting rid of him, you don't say this about it, and obviously, there were things going back and forth. Let's be honest, definitely deserve more playing time, but you don't really want to come out and publicly say that if you want to stay with the team, in this case, especially the Boston Bruins. And I'll do a little refresher here about what Joonas Korpisalo did say. He said, I don't think there's any goalie in the league who's really comfortable playing 20, 25 games, so I'm going to push for more games for sure, and we'll see what happens. He continued on with that, saying, I was pretty open when I got into the season, and always, you just try to put everything you have out there. Make your mark to gain some playing time, but you just do what's best for you every day. Try your best and work hard. And that way, you might earn some more playing time, but sometimes it's not up to me with who's going to play more, and whatever role it is, you do your best, you can in that role. So, Joonas Korpisalo certainly wasn't happy. He really voiced that. Now, necessarily didn't say, this was on the Bruins, I should have been playing more in this case. Now, he definitely said he would like to play more games, but obviously you signed Jeremy Swayman to this big deal, not playing great. You want to get him to try and bounce back. That is the bottom line here. This would be different if this was 3 or 4 years into that contract, but the fact that Joonas Korpisalo came out and said this really didn't sit well with too many Bruins fans, even though we all knew he was absolutely right. It really just wasn't what we wanted to see when it came to this. It would have been better if he just said, yeah, I thought I should get a bit more time. But when Michael Sullivan tweeted this out this morning, I think this really kind of set off what a lot of Bruins fans were thinking and set this into the path of where we are right now. And he kind of put this into exactly what my mind went when Kevin Weekes put this out. I understand moving Korpisalo may not be the easiest, but to make with his $3 million annual average value, I think it would be very foolish for the Bruins to not free up cap space and promote DiPietro to a full-time backup after the last 2 stellar seasons. And when you go and kind of compare Michael DiPietro, Jeremy Swayman, compared to money versus and money compared to Swayman and Korpisalo, it does much better. You have more money to make some moves. Plus, you have a younger goalie who is trying to get into this roster at some point, and he has certainly deserved that, especially over the last 2 seasons. When we go and take a look at his play, he's been absolutely phenomenal, and even in the playoffs this year, he was still very, very good. A 195 goals against, just numbers that you don't really see every day with a young AHL goalie like this. Kind of comparing this to, I guess, Jesper Wallstedt. Bit of a different scenario, bit younger, had dealt with some injuries, but he's the future of the Minnesota Wild, apparently, and he did not play very, very good. But when you go and take a look here at Michael DiPietro's stats, the experience he's had with his time at Providence, he's shown that he's able to be this NHL backup. And I feel like the fact that Kevin Weekes is tweeting this out, saying that plenty of clubs have spoken about him, it just goes to show that he is a lot better than some people are thinking here in this instance. Now, when we do go and take a look at Joonas Korpisalo, I don't want to say he was terrible this season, but he certainly wasn't as good as we wished he was. Now, there is no doubting that this team was really, really bad, and the fact that a lot of people are thinking a trade will come and would have come at some point when Joonas Korpisalo said this, his stats are not really putting it into the best scenario for the Bruins to be able to get a whole lot in a trade. And frankly, they might have to give up more than they would like to get rid of him rather than gaining assets in the move. However, you do get cap space, even if you do give up a pick or something. There are kind of a few things that we will touch on later in this video that could work out here. But 27 games played, 11 wins. A 290 goals again is not terrible with how bad this Bruins team was. but an .893 save percentage really is not as good as you would like to see. And, .290, still not great, but it's not really that bad. So you take a look at Joonas Korpisalo, you kind of take a look at really how he played, how he's done, what he's been able to kind of vocalize and say with this Bruins team. All signs are really pointing to him being gone. Now, the Bruins have not came out and said really anything in a little while, and I feel like that's why the Bruins now, especially under Marco Sturm, who the other day in his press conference said that you have to earn your playing time here. He likely would have gotten a bit more playing time if it was Marco Sturm's opinion last year, but now we don't really know. A younger goalie may be the move. We've been able to see Don Sweeney and Marco Sturm discuss the fact that they're trying to get some younger players in here, trying to get some new faces in, and I think that starts with goalie as well. Marco Sturm has been very vocal about trying to get some new faces in this team, and this also goes with goalie. He's been able to say that, saying, of course, as I mentioned, that you don't want to have someone be given playing time. They have to earn it, and I think that comes with the new faces in Michael DiPietro and Brandon Bussi. I mean, both are free agents right now, but when it comes down to it, I think that both would be a great opportunity to re-sign. Brandon Bussi has been solid in the AHL as well, but Michael DiPietro really has excelled in this position and put him into a spot where he can really thrive and be a very solid NHL backup with Jeremy Swayman. Now, there is quite a few issues with trading Joonas Korpisalo. As I mentioned, he is quite expensive. 3 years left on his deal, going into the third year there. Puckpedia kind of put it in a bit of a weird kind of way to go there, but 31 years old, with those stats, a pretty hefty $4 million cap hit, he will take quite a bit to be traded. And I think that there are some teams that wouldn't be, opposed to it as a fringe starter, kind of a bridge type goalie for maybe a prospect coming up. But for the most part, and you see as the depth chart there as well, he is a backup goalie for the most part in the NHL for a majority of teams. And some teams, of course, who are in the rebuild may be willing to try and garner a few picks. The Bruins have quite a few that they can trade to get rid of Joonas Korpisalo, but that is really worst case scenario, is that you trade him and get rid of a pick doing so. Because even though this $4 million cap hit is quite expensive, you have the 8 point whatever it is for Jeremy Swayman. That's close on $13 million for goaltenders, and it's not what we want to see. Plus, Michael DiPietro, I'm very positive he does not want to have another season in the AHL. He wants to be promoted at this point. And kind of as we go to the depth chart here, I'll pull that one up once again in a moment, because I want your opinion on it as well. Jeremy Swayman, Joonas Korpisalo, Brandon Bussi, Michael DiPietro, and Simon Zajac are all goalies currently signed. Philip Svedback, not signed at the moment, but as you see there as well, DiPietro, Brandon Bussi, both expiring on this year. So the Bruins have some decisions to make, whether or not they are going to move on from Joonas Korpisalo. Feels like they've been trying to cover up what he had to say, whether they're trying to get a trade or not. We have not heard very much, but many Bruins analysts, when this originally came out, these quotes here kind of going into the whole system that we saw Joonas Korpisalo come out with, a lot of people were saying they want him traded. But as you probably saw, this was the poll on the bottom of this article, kind of going over once again about the Joonas Korpisalo stuff when it happened. What do you think? Do you think that this kind of justifies a trade? And at this point now, where we've had a little bit to sit on it, do you want to see him traded? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I think Brandon Bussi and Michael DiPietro stay with this team. DiPietro comes up to the NHL. Bussi starts in the AHL. Of course, moves can be made, but that's what I think right now. And of course, there is still lots of time for the Bruins to make the decision, but time is slowly dwindling down. So let me know what you think about all this here in the comments below. This is all I have in this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. But I'm signing out. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.